Carney falters in Parliament. New minister's shocking failure sparks outrage. In a dramatic session of Parliament, Finance Minister Mark Carney faced intense scrutiny regarding his handling of the controversial ArriveCAN scandal, igniting widespread outrage among Canadians. The recent news of another Trudeau-appointed senator defecting to the Conservative Party only amplified the criticism directed at the Liberal leadership. Many citizens are increasingly questioning whether the current government is truly capable of effective governance, especially amid ongoing scandals and mismanagement of taxpayer funds. During question period, the leader of the opposition took a bold stance, announcing that the Conservatives would push for a vote in the House aimed at recovering taxpayer money lost in the ArriveCAN debacle. The Auditor General's damning report condemned the Liberal government for awarding a staggering $64 million in contracts to GC Strategies, a tiny two-person IT firm that is currently under investigation by the RCMP. This shocking revelation raises serious concerns about the oversight and judgment exercised by the government in awarding such substantial contracts to a company with questionable qualifications. The details surrounding GC Strategies are deeply troubling. Despite doing little to no actual work, this firm managed to siphon millions from Canadian taxpayers, leading to widespread public outrage and calls for accountability. Opposition leaders, including Andrew Scheer, pressed Carney for concrete actions to address these alarming findings. Canadians are demanding transparency regarding how their money is spent and whether it was wasted on ineffectual contracts that failed to deliver any real value. Carney's responses during the session were disappointing and evasive, filled with vague promises about best-in-class procurement but lacking any substantive answers about the ArriveCAN scandal. His failure to directly confront the issue only served to deepen public skepticism about the government's commitment to accountability. Instead of seizing the opportunity to regain public trust by prioritizing fund recovery, Carney's rhetoric appeared to be little more than political spin, frustrating many Canadians who are fed up with empty assurances and bureaucratic doublespeak. Moreover, the opposition reminded Parliament that Carney was a senior economic advisor to Prime Minister Trudeau when these contracts were awarded. This connection raises serious questions about the oversight and accountability of those in leadership positions. Many key ministers who were involved in these questionable contracts have faced no repercussions. Instead, several have received promotions, leaving taxpayers to shoulder the financial burden of their decisions. This pattern of rewarding failure only fuels public anger and disillusionment with the current administration. When pressed about why those implicated in scandals seem to be rewarded rather than facing consequences, Carney deflected the question, focusing instead on the establishment of new ministries that paradoxically seem to increase costs for taxpayers. His answers were perceived as hollow and confusing, leaving many Canadians questioning whether the government truly understands the gravity of the situation and the anger it has provoked among the electorate. This lack of accountability creates a perception that the government is more concerned with preserving its image than addressing the pressing concerns of its constituents. The Auditor General's findings also revealed that GC Strategies had violated procurement rules, lacked proper security clearances, and provided no evidence of any work completed, all while holding on to $64 million of taxpayer money. This lack of transparency is particularly concerning, as it undermines public trust in the government's ability to manage finances responsibly. Canadians deserve clarity regarding how their money is being spent and who is benefiting from these contracts. The continued failure to provide such transparency only exacerbates the growing frustration among the public. Despite the promises made during the last election to manage taxpayer dollars efficiently and bolster economic strength, the government's track record has been marred by scandals and a distinct lack of accountability. The opposition has made it clear that recovering the funds lost to the ArriveCAN scandal, along with addressing issues related to the infrastructure bank, must be a priority. This ongoing demand for accountability reflects a broader discontent with the current administration's handling of public funds and its failure to learn from past mistakes. Adding to the turmoil is the Minister for Government Transformation, who publicly thanked Conservative MP Connie for her efforts in highlighting the growing public frustration with the Liberal government's failures. It's troubling that ministers responsible for critical issues have been promoted rather than held accountable for their missteps. For instance, Sean Fraser, who faced significant criticism for his handling of immigration and housing issues, is now serving as the Justice Minister. This raises serious concerns about whether the government is truly committed to effective governance and accountability. In addition to these governance issues, the Auditor General has reported on missed housing targets and skyrocketing defense costs, raising skepticism about the government's claims of being on track. Canadians are questioning whether the promises made during the last election hold any weight, especially when they see billions wasted and commitments unfulfilled. This growing frustration may have significant implications for the government's standing in future elections, as citizens become increasingly disillusioned with the perceived lack of progress and accountability. Turning to the critical issue of public safety, recent police actions in Peel have revealed a startling reality. 1,000 pounds of cocaine were seized, yet 6 of the 9 individuals arrested were already out on bail. This scenario paints a troubling picture of the current state of public safety in Canada. The new public safety minister's response was to commend the police for their actions, failing to address the systemic failures within the bail system that allow repeat offenders back onto the streets. This response has further incensed the public, who are concerned about rising crime rates and the effectiveness of law enforcement. This dismissive attitude has sparked outrage, particularly among police unions that have increasingly shown support for conservative policies due to frustration with the Liberal government's perceived leniency on crime. Many in law enforcement feel that the current administration does not take the issue of public safety seriously, creating a rift between the government and those tasked with maintaining law and order. As crime rates continue to rise, the disconnect between government policy and ground realities has become increasingly evident, leaving citizens to question the effectiveness of current strategies. Overall, the events in Parliament today painted a grim picture of a government more focused on creating new agencies and increasing spending than on resolving critical issues or holding anyone accountable. Canadians are left to grapple with the consequences of Liberal incompetence and corruption, while promises to recover lost funds and improve public safety appear to be little more than empty rhetoric. As the political landscape continues to evolve, it is clear that Canadians demand better governance and accountability from their leaders. The question remains, will the government rise to the occasion and address these pressing concerns, or will Canadians continue to bear the cost of political mismanagement?